So for most of my life, I have had people tell me that I'm really good at manifesting. I'm really good at drawing in opportunities and clients and money and those kinds of things. And, even with that, there's still been room for me to keep improving on that skill and keep up-leveling it. And even though I keep being told this, I don't actually own it. Or at least I haven't been owning it until now. I spoke at an event last week up in Kingston, and as I was driving up there, I was doing some more of my tools and doing some clearing and working on my stuff. And it occurred to me that, there's this piece where I haven't really been owning a truth about me. And the truth is that I built a 7-figure business, which in itself is remarkable. And I need to own that. I tend to downplay it, but I'm really starting to own it more. And if that triggers you, sorry, not sorry, but let's lean into it. Okay. So I built a 7-figure business on attraction, on client attraction, on manifesting, and on customer service. I didn't do sales calls. I sucked at follow-up. I wasn't good at following up on my leads from trade shows or business events and things. I relied on people coming into me. So, my thing was that I was always saying to myself, well, I could have done a lot better. So I tried to negate the fact that I actually built a 7-figure business, a fucking 7-figure business, people. Like, why am I downplaying this? Oh my God, right? Like, I just had this huge awareness this week that it's like, why the fuck am I downplaying what aspects worked? And this is what I see so many of my clients do as well, is this thing of like, well, it didn't all work, so therefore this part, it doesn't really mean anything. It's kind of like, that's, it's not really valid. And I caught myself doing the same thing. I'm like, wow, okay. So when I spoke at Kingston, I challenged myself. I was like, you know what? I'm really going to own that. And I'm going to talk about the fact that I did that, that I am not good at sales calls and follow-ups, and I don't like doing that kind of stuff. And yet I still was able to build a 7-figure business. And then when I went into coaching 2 years ago, my first year in coaching, I was able to do a 6-figure business in the first year, right? So these are things that it's like, yeah, it's not about the money. And yet it is about the money, because we need money, right? If we make peace with money, if we actually allow ourselves to have it for what we need it for ourselves, have it for what we need it for our business, and have a little extra to be able to fun and play and, go and do things. I'm not saying that you have to be like a bazillionaire and be raping and pillaging the earth. Don't go that extreme. But what if you allowed yourself to have a good 6-figure income to be able to afford the things that you want to afford, to be able to put your kids in the school that you want to put them in, to be able to, go on the business trips that you want to go on, to be able to go and take that workshop because it's like, it looks so exciting. It's so juicy. It's like, oh my God, yes. Trusting that you can actually draw it in. To feel that. So this week I had a really good, painful learning opportunity. I tend to think of the universe as my dominatrix, and, she gives me these painful lessons for my own good so that I can step into the things that I've been asking to step into. And so sometimes I have to experience the less than comfortable experiences, those things where it's like, oh, and yet I've done so much of this work that I know that when that experience comes up, when that feeling of like, oh, that feels ugly, I can breathe, I can expand out, and I can lean into that pain. And I can know that on the other side of this comes a transformation. On the other side of this comes the reward of what I'm actually looking for and desiring, right? So here's what happened to me this week. So I'm like, all right, I recognize that I am not fully trusting the universe. And there are areas where, while I have been able to create a lot of magic, I've also noticed that I can create bigger magic for my clients than I can for me. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's just pissing me off, right? Like, when my clients go out and they make 10 times what I do, I'm like, fuck, really? Like, I want that for me. Why can't I have that for me? So I had to really drop in and say, well, what am I not doing? What do I teach that I'm not doing? What are they implementing that I'm not doing? And just take that deeper drop in. And it's not to say that I'm broken. This is not because I'm broken, and neither are you. But it is an awareness of like, okay, this system needs some tweaking. The system right now is about, where do I trust or not trust the universe implicitly? Where do I pull back and try to control, get all up in my control freakishness, because I love that, and yet it's not effective, right? It's not effective. We know this, but we still try it. Or at least I do. I don't know. Maybe that's not you, but I try it. I try to get into the control thing again. And it's like, oh, fuck, it still didn't work. Crap. Okay. So this week I was really looking at the piece of, where do I cut off the trusting of the universe? Where do I cut myself off from actually allowing myself to lean in? And the piece that dropped in was that I don't let myself feel joy. I let myself be happy. I let myself play. If you've watched any of my videos, you know I love making fun of myself and life in general and having fun. Yes. But fun is different from joy. It's actually a different vibration. And joy is like this bigger, expanded, like, fireworks going off into the universe and like exploding, and you're like, whoa, sparkles everywhere, right? But joy for the sake of joy. When little kids are in their joy, they're just having fun. They're like, look, I slayed the dragon. I just slayed him so bad, so hard. I slayed him, right? Did you see that? Did you see me slay the dragon? Right? They just are fun. They're just playing for the sake of playing. And it's not about the outcome. It's not about the results. It's just for the pure joy of it. And so I had to, really look at the fact that I haven't really been letting myself drop into that joy and drop into really letting the universe have my back, which is kind of ugly because it's a lot of what I teach. And I hate it when I'm out of alignment, when what I'm teaching is the very thing that I need to learn. But that's probably why I teach it, so that it's constantly in my face, right? It's what we tend to do. So anyway, I wanted to share this on this video because I see so many people who do the same thing, that, joy is just not even anywhere near in the equation. And, the first step is letting yourself be happy, letting yourself be playful. And then, once you kind of bust through that ceiling, then we can start looking at joy. And there's a fear that comes in letting yourself feel joy, because when you feel the upper end of the emotions, which to me is joy, you also end up feeling the bottom end of the emotions. And for so many of us, we try to live in this nice, tight, controlled little line of emotions where we're like, not too happy, not too sad, bouncing along, not too happy, not too sad. And as a way to kind of control it, but it also limits. It limits how far we can go. It limits our reach. It limits our voice. It limits how we show up in the world. And it's time for us to stop playing small. It really is. It's time for you to really drop in to what you know, to actually drop in and trust. So it is a process, and I'd invite you to keep digging in, whether you dig in with me to go further or you dig in with somebody else, but do this work to actually, reconnect with who you are at a soul level so that you can get aligned with your business. And that alignment is when the magic shows up. That's when things start clicking. You meet people, you get that thought of like, oh, I need to call so-and-so. You call them and they're like, oh my God, I've been meaning to call you because I've been thinking of putting in this event and I want you to be a speaker, right? These kinds of things happen. They show up when you're willing to drop into that alignment and that trust. And the more you drop in, the more shows up. So it's a process. It's gradual. To say that you're going to manifest, $1 million tomorrow, if you're only able to manifest an extra dollar today, is a bit too much of a stretch, but you can eventually get there with time, with consistent action and consistent dropping in and connecting to the alignment. All right. So if any of this resonates with you and you want someone to really make sure that you get there faster or the fastest way possible and with some fun, I would love to have a conversation with you. So bookdana.in. So bookdana.in, and that will take you to my calendar. You can get yourself booked in for a free consultation. We'll talk about what's working, what's not working, and what are some possible options to get things moving to where you actually desire them to be. All right. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.